in whatever language, or to be the best, as good as possible in your domain. And if you are good, like, people will want you on board. You don't, like, if they wanted someone who speaks Korean, they would take a Korean person, pretty much. So I would always advise people to spend time on their craft, be the best at what they can. This actually is, in my opinion.
Yeah, talking about craft, like,
yeah.
I mean, different countries have different tech stacks.
Yeah.
And let's say, and if you watch too many YouTube videos or spend too much time on X, you probably think like the best JavaScript framework, this is the one I have to learn. But I mean, like, the reality looks a little bit different. Like, what kind of tech stack does Korea like prefer, or what should you know when you come to Korea and try to find work?
That's a good question, because at Dev Korea we see many jobs in the job description, so we have kind of insights about what is in demand, and there is pretty much always like 3 areas. There is a huge demand in everything related to AI these days, like things like Python and so on. If you go to startups, it's a lot about JavaScript. JavaScript on the back end, like it can be like an Express or Hono or Next.js, and then React, Next.js on the front, or because at the startup level, using one language for the backend and the front end, you can, someone that does the backend can touch a little bit on the front, and and being full stack is becoming even more important now. So like most of the jobs, they require people that can do both, and JavaScript is a fantastic language to do that. And on the flip side, you have also Korea is very strong on the hardware. So everything related to C++, for hardware related positions, that also very attractive. Korea is very strong hardware wise, and they always, companies, chip makers and so on, semiconductors, they always look for people that can, work on this project. So, and then if you go for bigger company, Korean company, of course Java is very used there. To be honest, at Dev Korea, we are more on the startup medium size rather than that kind of big companies. So what I see the most is either this, C++ for hardware, or JavaScript, full stack JavaScript, or Python for ML. I would say that's the ranking I would.
And if somebody, let's say, has worked in Europe or the US, like culturally, like work culturally, how is it different in Korea?
I would say some people can't make it, to be honest. So that's why I would also recommend, that's another reason why I always recommend to work on your craft than your Korean language. I mean, it's sad to say, but the reason is, Korea might be the perfect country for you from the outside. You travel there, you love Korea, but there is always a difference between traveling to a country and working in that country. And I know that for Japan as well. Japan and Korea, in terms of work culture, they have a lot of bad history of bad working culture, especially in like big companies, like hierarchy, and we hear stories, So it will get better. There is because the young generation, a lot of Korean person, like now CEOs, they went abroad to the university in Europe, universities in the US, they come back. So they have this culture of having a better work environment, and having also a diverse workforce. And you were telling me that one of the episodes of the podcast was with 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝘀. And I remember having an event with 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝘀, and he said something very that I like a lot.